Lucy, and it's time for your Married at First Sight New Zealand Season 3, Episode 8 recap. Well, last night we had our first dinner party. They recapped the struggles between the couples. James and Carmen are going hot. Chris made an error, and Ray kept up the aggression. But tonight, the first commitment ceremony, and we find out who stayed and who goes. Up first, we've got Jimmy and Carmen. They talk about the dinner party, of course. It was a bit of tension, but Carmen says not as bad as what she really thought it was going to be. She thought it was going to be quite crazy. Jimmy says he was fired up about Chris last night, but he kept his mouth shut because he's there for Carmen and not the dramas, but he said he would have backed up Chris. Rose and Chris seem unchanged. Rose says that he thinks that she has a wall up, but she says it's not a wall. She just doesn't want to be intimate, but he counts that as being a wall. Jono and Ray have again found a compromise, but that can change at any time. Anna and Jordan. Anna is worried about having to talk and really open up to the experts. They discuss how she lives in LA part of the year, and she's nervous about that. So logistics, that's what she's kind of worried about right now. Vicky and Stefan, he thinks it's the trust that they will have to discuss tonight. Vicky says she thinks that it can work, actually. The boys get together and talk. Jimmy says he and Carmen are good. Ray asks if Chris is working too much instead of concentrating on his relationship, but Chris says he doesn't think so. Jono and the girls get together and discuss Ray's aggression at the party. And Rose does say that she thought that Chris, he held himself well, and that she thought he reacted well in the situation. An expert then goes to see each of the groups. They ask them to really reflect on the relationship and how it's going, and if they want to decide to stay or go. Each of the two need to stay. Like if one of the couples says they want to stay and the other one says they go, then they have to stay. So if they both say go, then they go. So if they both say stay, obviously they stay. So there you go. All right, well, James and Carmen are up first. Jimmy says he thinks so far so good. They say they both are genuinely happy. They decided up front to have chats that Jimmy has dubbed their toolbox talk. He said normally he's a reactive person, but his mantra was to respond, not react. Last night at the dinner party, they say they've had lots of sex, so that's going on. Carmen says she isn't worried about them fizzing out. She says, "Stay, yeah, boy," and Jimmy says, "Stay," and then he writes underneath each of the letters of stay, "Stand together, always, yay." So that was kind of cute. Jimmy says that he's pleased that they're doing so well. On to Stefan and Vicky. Vicky says they're doing really well and have had a bit of a roller coaster. She says they both were gutted at first because, neither one of them had an attraction. Stefan says she is liking who he is developing into. He's more confident and he's really growing. And he says that they potentially could work. They think it's heading in the right direction. Expert Stephanie says she has a slight reservation. She says that Vicky has a sort of sad look, and Vicky was confused, but Tony then says he noticed it too, and he reiterates that they need to really open up and be honest. And then they go off to the side, and Vicky and Stefan are chatting, and neither one of them can figure out what they're talking about. So yeah, there was that. Stefan, he did wonder about the questioning. He says that they seem to be tracking fine, and both say more time together will help to build things. Stefan says, "Stay, we got this." Vicky says, "Stay." Stefan says next week is going to be a harder decision. Anna and Jordan. Well, Anna says things are good. Jordan says that on the honeymoon they had some issues, but each time they talk about their issues, things get better. Anna she's working through her past. She's got fears. She says she does trust Jordan, but she's scared at how much she can potentially fall for him. They both seem like they're very happy, and experts say, don't worry about, all the logistics and all that stuff. because the future of all that, you will work it out. She said, Stephanie says, love will find a way. And they both, of course, say, stay. Ray and Jono. Well, Ray is asked to start. He says when they are alone, they have conversations that are good. And then later he says Jono brings up things like bullets and shoot them at him. And then he says, like, they obviously they don't communicate well, because I don't know if it's like, it seems like they talk fine and then later things get picked apart. I don't understand it at all, and it's hard to try to figure out what to say about it when I don't even know what's happening myself. So it's really confusing. And then he also says that Jono could be a paid actor. Jono says he respectfully disagrees. He says Ray doesn't trust him, and he puts up walls and he attacks. And he says Ray's been burnt in the past. And Ray says, yeah, he has been hurt in the past, and he's also hurt others. The experts ask if Ray can ever be close to anyone with his barriers. Ray finds reasons to attack. Jono can't seem to say anything right for Ray. Ray seems hostile. He wonders why Ray thinks of him as an enemy. Ray says he's trying. Jono says he's still trying. Ray says he feels like he is taking on more responsibility. But honestly, it doesn't look that way. It just looks like these two just can't make it. That's what it looks like. I don't think there's any blame or anything anywhere. I just don't think they're right for each other. I don't know what else they can do, really. But they both end up saying stay. And it's going to be rough. But hopefully Ray can drop some of his walls. Maybe they can learn to communicate better. But we'll see. Alright, Chris and Rose. Rose says there's no affection, or I'm sorry, not affection, no attraction. There hasn't been between them. She says the age gap is also an issue. He is 10 years older than she. Sometimes she says it's like being with her dad. She also says he works a lot, and she says he's always busy. Rose says he needs to take time off for her, and he says he needs to be seen as himself and not as the old man. He says leave, but he says that he's firing a warning shot for Rose to open up. She says she isn't surprised, but we don't know what she's going to say, because that's where they end the episode. So next time, will Rose stay or will she leave? Anna is going to have to tell Jordan about her sex tape past, and the love word is going to get thrown around. So we'll see that. So that all happens again tomorrow night. We'll see you again for another Married at First Sight New Zealand Season 3 recap. I'm Mama C.